Season 1 of Overwatch has come out about a month ago, and with that update, we got our newest tank hero, Domina. Back when I first started playing Overwatch in my Mercy one-tricking days, I didn't really understand how to play Overwatch, and instead I just flew around everywhere like a helpful little Mercy. I took a bit of a break for a while after I got a bit bored, and instead I started learning Marvel Rivals. But with the new update and Marvel Rivals' weird balancing system, I have returned. I never thought that I would play a tank back when I first started Overwatch, but somehow, Domina manages to satisfy my tank fantasy. My friends who I play Overwatch with say they don't really click with Domina's kit, so today I'm making this video to give you 10 basic tips to get started with Domina. You can also watch my gold gameplay in the background, and these tips are geared towards lower elos cause, well, I'm gold, but I hope you enjoy anyway. Alrighty, so my first big tip with Domina is to stop panicking with your cooldowns. You have 3 abilities. You have your shield, you have your crystal, and you have your push. What I prefer to do is space my crystal and my shield in order to tank the maximum amount of damage. If you don't already know, Domina has a passive ability. Whenever you damage someone with an ability, usually your crystal or your boop, but sometimes also your ultimate, you will recover 75% of the damage dealt as shield health. Make sure you guys get comfortable with being a little bit damaged to make the most out of your passive. You can have a look on your scoreboards whenever you're in the middle of playing to see how much healing you're doing to yourself when you're playing. High healing numbers means you're placing less pressure on your supports to heal you, which is going to help them take angles with your DPSs and get kills and make plays of their own. So try to space out your cooldowns, don't panic with them and use them all at once, because otherwise you'll be left with nothing to fend for yourself when they inevitably come charging back at you. Next up, my second tip is to use your crystal often and with intention. This is one of the best ways in order for you to get ultimate charge and quickly. Your crystal deals about 100 damage whenever, if it's in the center. It does like 50 over time and then 100 to 50 depending on how close the enemy is to the epicenter of the crystal. But it's a really good ability with a short cooldown of only 8 seconds, and it excels at pushing DPSs away from angles and just doing a lot of damage. You can combine it with like your primary fire to do an insane amount of damage to a squishy hero at once. Use your crystal often. I prefer to use my crystal whenever it's off cooldown in order just to apply more pressure, deal more damage, and get more ult charge. It's a really good ability, and mastering it is going to help you do better as Domina. My next big tip is to look at how you are positioning on Domina. Domina, in my opinion, is one of the best tanks in Overwatch at holding a space down. She deals a lot of damage, and she also has her push, which just forces enemies back. If you can get onto a high ground, you are going to be able to apply a lot more pressure than you would if you're on the floor. Generally, having a height advantage helps you to get more headshots. It helps your DPSs take control of the map. It's just generally good to have. If you drop away from high grounds, you lose that advantage that you would otherwise have. Look to position in between fights in order to take high grounds or key areas. Keep in mind, as Domina, you don't have any movement abilities, so that's kind of your weakness. Like, you're not D.Va, you can't boost her up to an area, or you can't Doomfist, like, punch into the air. But she's really good at holding said spaces. Obviously, that means there is some synergy between heroes that can give you movement abilities, aka Symmetra Teleporter, Jetpack Cat Tether, or Lifeweaver Pedal. These abilities help you get into better positions that help you fight. They'll give you more headshots on your primary gun. They'll help your tanks, not your tanks, your DPSs take better angles and get more headshots in that way, and just generally control the map. You can stop people from pushing altogether. Really important tip. Alright, so my fourth tip is to play around natural cover. Walls have infinite health. It's just a fact of this game. This works for everyone. But with someone like Domina, she has really good range, at least on her primary gun, which gives her the luxury of being able to play around walls really well. Overwatch is still a shooter, even if it is a hero shooter, so remember your FPS tips. If you play around cover well, you'll have more HP to work with and then lessen the burden of your supports once again. Just a good general tip for any hero, it works for DPSs just as well, but definitely make sure that you're looking at what walls, what corners, and what buildings you can play around on every map when you play Domina. Tip number 5, it's all about your ultimate Panopticon. It is kind of underwhelming. It's really good if you can get it off onto a lot of people, but unfortunately it's so inconsistent and so easy to miss that if you don't get it off, it's a very easy ultimate to waste. My tips for using this ultimate correctly is to first off get tricky with your positioning beforehand, hide, catch someone off guard, and then use your ultimate. Make sure that you have immediate follow-up with ultimate, either from pinging the ultimate out to your teammates or making sure you have your crystal, your boop, and your other cooldowns in order to take advantage of this state where your enemies cannot fire back at you. You charge this ult very quickly. It's fine to use it like on 2 people at least. I find solo ulting isn't really worth it in my opinion, but 2 is good, 3 is great, 4 is amazing, and you're never gonna get 5 because when has 5 people ever lined up to give you like a perfect Domina ult? I do have one clip that when I got 4, but that wasn't a quick play match. My 6th tip is all about the push. In the Domina trailer, if you've watched it, the push was advertised as this get off me button. Back off, get away from me. However, the push is surprisingly good as an offensive tool. The wall stun deals quite a bit of damage, heals you a lot with your restoration passive, and just is really good to combo into stuff. The fantasy still stands, you can use it to get people off you, but it's also really good if you can slam tanks or other DPSs who are ulting into walls. You can also use your push with your crystal at the same time to guarantee the detonation. Is a really good combo, but it's also inconsistent, so I wouldn't go for it unless it works out in the moment. Tip number 7 is also about the backhand, aka your quick melee. This melee deals 40 damage, it's identical to every other melee in the game, but I know when Domina was first announced that I don't really think she would use melee at all because she plays at like a very certain range, but the gun deals the same damage up close, and there will be a lot of times where you can get some really quick eliminations by just hitting them with the backhand of your gun. This is really good, especially if you can get like a wall stun onto someone, or you're in a really close room where you have to play close together against people like Traces, Sombras, Reapers, people who play very close to you. The melee I find helps a lot with making your damage more bursty, so do not be afraid to use a backhand of your gun whenever you feel like you can use it to secure a kill or just get a little bit of extra damage out there. Coming into tip number 8, I've got practice tracking and tracing. So the way your gun works is that it deals 60 damage over time with the beam component of it, and then 60 more damage in a projectile shot at the end. If you've ever played Ultron and Marvel Rivals, very similar mechanic there. It can also headshot, but only in the projectile bit for an extra 1.5 times damage. The reason why I tell you to practice your tracing and your tracking is that by doing it over the full duration, you can get 120 damage off, which is a lot more than just the 60 at the end. Tracking practice will improve your consistency, it'll allow you to deal more damage, apply more pressure. Just not missing your shots is also just really helpful for dealing more damage. This also kind of ties back into not panicking. If you're seeing someone get close, don't panic, just keep tracking their movements, predict where they're going to go, and you will find yourself dealing more damage and surviving a lot more encounters. Tip number 9 is about understanding matchups. It doesn't need to be directly knowing like every single hero. I know down here in Gold, you don't play enough games to really get the grasp of how Gold works. Inconsistency is all over the place. Fiesta positioning is all out of sorts. But just knowing between poke comps, brawl comps, and dive comps, and understanding tank matchups is definitely good to be used. One big tip I think to understand matchups, at least with Domina, is that shields and some abilities block your ultimate. That is who you're going to struggle into the most. So Sigma is a struggle, Zarya is a struggle, and Diva is a struggle. I also struggle against Winton because I can't push him off. Sometimes like the barrier stops the push, which is a problem for me. Domina fits into poke comps. She can also work with some brawl comps, in my opinion. I'm just charging at them. Just making sure you understand each tank's ability usage and then like how each hero wants to try and kill you. It'll make it quite easy to play the game, and you can actually know when to use your abilities on Domina. I'm not going to give you every single example here now, but generally when I go into a game, I ban Diva, Zarya, and Vendetta. Hope that helps. And finally, my 10th tip, and arguably the most important, is to just get into it and have fun. My methodology whenever I play characters is I play characters that I think have like fun personalities, like are interesting, and the kit might fit, but you can learn anyone's kit. I resonate with Domina. Well, I like how like sassy she is. She's really fun. She's a girl boss. That's why I have fun playing this game. Overwatch is a video game. You're meant to have fun. So if you're not having fun playing Domina, the biggest tip is just to not play Domina. I'm sure there's someone out there in the Overwatch roster that will fulfill your fantasy. But get into it. Pretend you're having fun. Tell enemy tanks whenever you do your push to get off your Prada shoes. It's very, very rewarding once you just stop caring so much about the game and just get into it. Obviously, that a lot of muscle memory will come with that. Playing Domina for a while will make it easier to keep playing Domina and free up your mental stack to play more. But I find just getting into the game, having fun with your character, and just enjoying it is going to make you have a much better experience and will make you climb a lot better. And those are my 10 tips for playing Domina. I hope you all enjoyed this YouTube video. I'm kind of new to the whole YouTube game in terms of making content, so I really do hope you stuck around to the end. Thank you all. Please leave a like if you like the video, or share the video with a friend who wants to learn to play Domina. If you're interested in learning more about Domina, the best thing you can obviously do is just to play it for yourself in comp and learn as you play. It's going to be way more helpful than any YouTube video you're going to find. I'll also leave some other links for description for videos about Domina I felt were helpful to me and gave me a basis to like start playing the character better. They're very helpful. Also, if you have any comments you want to leave that maybe I didn't mention in this video, or that someone else will find helpful, leave a comment down below. We're all here to learn. We can all learn off each other. Finally, I stream on Twitch. I will shamelessly plug this in on screen. I do streams every Friday on like 12 to 2 Australian Standard Time. If you're interested in that, come and check me out. But other than that, thank you all for joining me, and I hope to see you guys around some other time.